Hello again, movie freaks. It's American Movie Freak Tracy trying to knock out another review. I just got one more to catch up, and then I might be going to see another movie tonight. But I just finished the review for George Foreman. Now I'm going to do one that opened this last Friday on May 5th. The movie is Love Again. It's rated PG-13 for some sexual material and some strong language. The runtime is 1 hour and 44 minutes. Love Again stars Priyanka Chopra Jonas as Mira Ray.
Do I know you?
I'm not sure.
Sam Heughan as Rob Burns.
When you touch me like this, and I hold you like that.
Celine Dion as herself.
Open yourself to the universe.
Sofia Barclay as Suzy Ray, who is Mira Ray's sister in the film.
There's nothing wrong with putting yourself back out there.
I'd never heard of this film until I saw it on the movie theater listings on Friday, and I was like, what is this film? So I decided to watch the trailer. It's a romantic comedy, so I knew that my wife was going to love this one, and I suggested, because I get to go see a lot of films that I want, I asked my wife, do you want to go see this film? And she, of course, said, oh yeah, I absolutely want to go see this film. The film is set in New York City, and Mira Ray is a well-known children's animated book writer of a character called the Stubborn Caterpillar, who never wants to become a butterfly, which is beautifully symbolic of Mira's struggle to move on to the next stage in her own life following the death of her boyfriend 2 years before. In the beginning of this film, we learn that Mira is dating a guy for a while, and they're getting pretty serious, but he's unfortunately killed right in front of her eyes. And then the film fast forwards to 2 years later, and she's still dealing with this issue. She's been living at home with her parents, and her sister Suzy is trying to get her to come back to New York and come back and live in the apartment that they shared together before her boyfriend was killed 2 years earlier. In essence, Suzy, the younger sister, is trying to help Mira get over this situation, which I can't even imagine how horrible that would have been. So I totally understand that it could take that long. But one of the themes that I liked in the movie is, yes, these things are going to happen, but don't stop living your life. This movie did a good job of driving that message home. Yes, it's a horrible situation, but try to get through it as soon as you can and move on, because you don't know what's in store for you in the future. But I like that they went out there and were dealing with this topic, and they did a pretty good job of bringing some humor in to lighten it up, but also driving home that this is something that happens to everyone at some point in their life. I mentioned it's a romantic comedy. Full disclosure, I am not a huge romantic comedy guy. Mostly I just go because my wife wants to see them, and because I get to see a lot of stuff that I want to go with her on a date night, and so I do. As far as romantic comedies go, this one follows the same pattern as all the others. Boy meets girl, girl meets boy, girl and boy get together, they have a great time, some kind of conflict takes place, they break up, and then they come back together at the end. I don't think that's going to spoil anything for anyone. It's just the normal romantic comedy pattern. This one fits that pattern as well. But as far as that goes, I actually really liked this one. But it was kind of neat to see Celine Dion, because I had heard stories that she was kind of a mean person. I found her very human-like and very down-to-earth in this film. Rob Burns, he's a music journalist and is assigned to write a story about Celine Dion because she's doing a concert in the United States after so much time that she hasn't done one. It was kind of neat because there's one scene where she describes the loss of her husband, who was the love of her life, and it's very moving, and it fits well with what's going on in the story, and it's very endearing to her as a person and as a character in the story. There was some language in it. It's not terrible, but there is some language. The one area that I really didn't like is this film is a film about a guy and a girl and their romance. There's one character in here, and I want to make this clear. I don't have a problem with people living their lives the way they want to. It's their choice. I may not like certain lifestyles, but outside of that, If I'm going to see a movie about a man and a woman, I don't want to hear any kind of banter or any kind of jokes even about another type of lifestyle. I found it in poor taste, number one, and it just wasn't necessary for the story. And so when that happens, it kind of tells me that it's part of an agenda or a token piece of some political ideology that they're trying to throw in there to make their film fit the Hollywood mold. Well, I'm not all about the Hollywood mold. I prefer films that don't fit the Hollywood mold. And so that was a negative for me. Probably the funniest part about this movie is Nick Jonas does a cameo. He comes into the film as Mira's first date after she finally gets back on the dating saddle again. And here she is with Nick Jonas, who I found out later, I didn't know this before, but I found out later that she's married to him. And so that was a surprise to me. I had no idea that he was married to her. But it was really funny because his character is this guy who's a weightlifter. I mean, he's looking pretty buff in this film. And he's sitting there the whole time just checking out his arms, and you know, he's all about the physical appearance. And it was just really funny to see those two interacting together, but even more so once I found out that they're married in real life. Outside of the one negative thing and some of the language, I really liked the film. I give Love Again an 8 out of 10 rating, and I recommend you go see it, especially if your wife, like mine, enjoys romantic comedies. And if you like Celine Dion's music, which I do, you find yourself tapping your foot to songs of hers that are in the film, and it's just kind of a fun, different movie that way. That's it for this review. Thanks again for watching. If you want to send me an email, please do. You can do that by sending it to AmericanMovieFreaks@protonmail.com. I look forward to reading your emails. If you haven't seen a movie in a while, I highly recommend it. There's a few out there that probably won't be there for long. So check your local listings, get out there, go see some movies, and enjoy. And until then, maybe I'll even see you at the show.